gave up hope, and he recounts so many different incidents where people had a dream that, oh, we'll be liberated on this day. And they were getting stronger and stronger and stronger until that day. And when that day came around and they never were not liberated, they died soon after. And it was those who had a purpose in living, and what he would try to do was to show to help everyone find a purpose to keep on going, to keep on living. And 100% person has that faith, has that reason, has that purpose. Yeah. Lahamin ki ein avel, as we had the pasuk before, Kelam Mishpat ein avel, that there is no injustice. Afa pisha lemare einav, even though according to our own, the perception, what our eyes can see, hu ro'eh avel, arein shiur, we see an incredible amount of injustice. K'mo she'reinu b'zman ha'acharon, like we saw in our recent history, shenergu she'etim milyonim Yehudim, that 6 million Jews were murdered. Tzadikim, including righteous, gaonim, sages, tamimim, pure, tinok v'tinoket, children, anashim v'nashim, men, women, ayarot shleimot, whole cities, umishbechot shleimot, and whole families, nekru min ha'olam. They were uprooted from the world. On our trip, we went to Tarno. Tarno was a city of 45,000, of which 25,000 were Jewish. And now there's not a Jew in Tarno. Not one. Majority of the city was Jewish. V'lo nishar zecher mehem. Cities, families were destroyed without there being nothing left. Without there being a remembrance of them. V'yalzeh tzarich la'amin. On that we need to believe ki ein avel, that there is not this injustice. Ki kol ma'adav rachmana latav hu da'avid v'al kol yesh cheshbon lamala. Whatever God does is for the good, and there is a calculation for everything. Hi, Alan. The way that I try to personally picture it sometimes, things are going wrong. Challenges are coming one after the other. If we could, imagine we could peel back that Wizard of Oz curtain, and we could see that the one who's orchestrating all of it is our mother, is our Father. It wouldn't take away the challenge that we have, but our perspective, our attitude, will be completely different. If my dad is doing this, if my mother is doing this, there's a reason for this. My father and mother would not do anything for the detriment of me. Anything and everything that they do, have done, is out of unbounding love for me. And we have to peel back that Wizard of Oz curtain and recognize it is Hashem that's orchestrating. And we appreciate it when we understand it, and we make our brachot of thanks. And when we don't understand it, we have our belief. I think we'll do, let's do number 13, and that will sort of end a big chunk. And the next, from 14 on, is already another aspect, which we'll save for next time.
This will be a class next week.
That will be in the class for the next few weeks. Yeah, but
2 weeks.
Yeah, when I come back, then we'll continue.
Because it won't be next week and the week after.
Correct.
Okay.
Rabbi Yitzchak Kerzner, from the Art Scroll, Making Sense of Suffering. God, in his essence, is unknowable. Right? There's no way that we have any understanding whatsoever about who or what God is. The only thing we can try to understand is how he deals with us. The reason why Hashem has many different names, the names describe the different ways that he deals with, hanagot, interacts with us. But if he's unknowable, that does not mean he does not exist. The totality of his ways is unfathomable, but that does not mean he has no ways. Intellectual endeavor remains crucial, but it must be coupled with another element, and that is trust. Trust is what we are left with when we have gone as far as we can toward intellectual understanding and have still not obtained satisfactory answers. Trust is the certainty that there is sense to God's ways even when we are denied access to understanding those ways. And here he makes a very, very powerful point. We know there are different types of mitzvot. Right? There are, if we could loosely categorize them, there are the mishpatim, right? Mishpatim, the root of that is judgment. And those are laws which fall within our judgment, our understanding. And there are chukim. Chukim are mitzvot that God has not shared with us the meaning of those mitzvot. And he writes, God could have created us with the intellectual capacity to understand every mitzvah, including the chukim. Or he could have limited the Torah to only those mitzvot that we are capable of comprehending. Edut, which are testimonies, like Pesach is testimony, right? Matzah, etc. And Mishpatim. So either he could have given us an understanding of them all, or limited the mitzvot to those which we are given an understanding. But he didn't either. Rather, he gave us the chukim. Why does he give us chukim? Why did he specifically give us mitzvot that he's not going to reveal to us the understanding of them? To introduce the element of trust into our relationship with him. Because an essential facet of our relationship with God is trust. Is understanding that we don't understand and we still go ahead. I'm hearing a story that survivors after the Holocaust, so they had a shul and they were bringing God to din, bring God to court. And that was the flavor, the direction of their conversation until, time to daven mincha. We'll have to stop to daven mincha now. He gave us the chukim to introduce the element of trust into our relationship with him. We do not understand them. We observe them because we trust him. And at the very, very essence, foundation of suffering, the only way that a person can truly come to terms is to recognize, like I said before, it's the parent behind the Wizard of Oz curtain. When we recognize that it's Hashem behind the curtain, who loves us more than our parents loved us, depending what stage of life we're in. Who loves us more than we love ourselves, and knows more than any of us can ever fathom about ourselves in the world. So then we take it. I'll just end today with a story that I told a number of times, but I love it, of a rabbi who survived the Holocaust. And someone approached him and said, Rabbi, don't you have questions? And he says, ooh, do I have questions? I got more questions than you can imagine. But I also believe, I trust, that God has the answers. And my concern is, if I ask these questions too stridently, too urgently, God's going to say, okay, fair enough. Come here. and I'll give you the answers. So I'm willing to step back. And in due time, I'll get the answers. But meanwhile, I have to go with the trust. Next time we meet, though, we'll go further and we'll continue with these sources. And we'll see the actual gains, the even measurable gains that we often can see from the difficulties. Not just like the case of the tree that I told you, the achorai, afterwards. Oh, look what this led to, look at the blessing. But sometimes even in the midst of it, we can appreciate that. Hold it over here, my friends.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Oh, good day, everybody.
Some comments on Tisha B'Av?
I'm sorry?
A couple comments on Tisha B'Av, if you have.
Well, I think we did.
Yeah.
I think we did.
Yeah.
Again, everyone was not clear. Our schedule on Shabbos, Mincha is going to be at 1:45. No Sudah Shlishit. 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock is.